Consistent self-improvement, everybody. You are now listening to American gypC Podcast. I am your host, Classic, and I'm here with my co-host,
gypC, and today we have Richard Bagdonas. He is a weightlifter, bodybuilder, creator of Fit Fab mobile app, and author of Fit for Any Battle. Welcome to the show, Richard.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Classic. Thanks for having me, gypC.
It's a pleasure.
Glad to have you.
So to get started, I like to ask a little bit about where you're from, and your last name is a little different. Tell us a little bit about, where you're from.
Background.
Yeah, your background.
Yeah, my last name is Bagdonas, which oftentimes people think is Greek or something in that area of the world. It turns out it's Lithuanian, which if you are watching what's going on with the Ukrainian war, Lithuania is really leading by example by trying to cut off resources from Russia. My father was born in Lithuania. He ended up placed in a displaced persons camp in Germany, and then he came to the United States before I was born.
Okay, Lithuania. That's very new for me.
Yep. So on Monopoly, those first three purple ones are the Baltic states.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Lithuania, Estonia, and Latvia. And so it doesn't cost much to put up a hotel, nor does it cost much to stay a night over there. But those first three were at least the middle one.
Yeah, I was like, it's there somewhere for some reason though, but that'll have to go to childhood. So that's that part of the brain. And I was also thinking FIFA. I'm like, have I seen that as a soccer team? But
Yep.
yeah.
And then back in the 90s, Lithuania did not have enough money for their basketball team for the Olympics. So the Grateful Dead sponsored them and gave them tie-dyed outfits to wear in the Olympics. And they did really, really well.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
So tell us a little bit about Fit Fab program, because I got to read your story a little bit. It was pretty inspiring. And what inspired you to come up with Fit Fab?
Well, in my 30s, I tried to go back to the gym after taking a bit of time off because I had a pain in both arms from something called bicipital tendonitis. So I barely could lift up a can of soup or a can of Coke. So I left the gym and I became a runner for a while. Well, I wanted to go back into the gym and do weight training, and I realized that my body was just not working the right way. And so after 40, that's when it really sets in that our bodies are completely different than they were when they were younger. And my body was wanting to train. However, my brain was trying to keep myself from getting injured. So I came up with a couple different test scenarios for a way to work out of the gym with a body that's over 40 that reduces the chances for injury. And then when I was 45, in October of 2018, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and given 3 to 5 years to live, which would be right about now.
Wow.
And I was very lucky. I became patient number 1 in a clinical trial at MD Anderson in Houston, Texas. And I was given pure immunotherapy, which is a type of drug that changes the way our body looks at cancer. Typically, our body looks at cancer and says, oh, that's just part of our body, so we're going to ignore it. And that's why it grows and grows and grows. And we typically have to have surgery or chemo or radiation to kill it. And in my case, I was given drugs that taught my body to look at that as cancer, as a foreign body, and it removed it. And so in 56 calendar days, I went from stage 4 cancer to 100% cured. And during my treatment, I started writing the book because I wasn't sure if this treatment was going to work, but I knew that the workout methodology was the right way to go. And so I started writing it, figuring that I would go as far as I could. And it turns out, because of the treatment, I was able to finish the book.
Wow. What were some of the reactions from the doctors and nurses that were working with you?
Yeah, since I was patient number 1, Dr. Michael Wong in Houston at the Myeloma and Lymphoma Clinic, we didn't know what we were getting into. I was the first one going through it. He had his hopes up, and I was working out 5 days a week at the gym because I was using the Fit for Any Battle workout. And because of that, we believe that my body healed faster. And the reason is because when you're feeling sick, we tend to lay down, and laying down stops our immune system from functioning at 100%. Because with blood, we have a heart that pumps it around from our lungs and throughout our body. And so we don't have to be moving for our heart to work. But for our lymphatic system, which is the immune system, it creates white blood cells. And the only way those really get around is through intense movement or working out or intense massage as well. And so the next closest person to be cured happened after 90 days. And so there's a really clear example of working out while going through treatment sped up my body's ability to heal.
Wow, that's amazing.
I just recently kind of got myself back in the gym with a pretty clear goal. It's more for bulking, but just also a consistent weightlifting lifestyle as well. I don't know if you've ever heard of Iron Wars.
I haven't, and that's awesome that you're back in the gym. Tell me about it.
There's a very I guess it's hard to even say. He's a famous bodybuilder, basically. CT Fletcher.
Oh, nice.
Not sure if you've ever heard of him, but he's has a gym out here called Iron Addicts Gym, and he makes motivational videos. I was turned on to him about 2016, and that's kind of when I had my first little journey where I ended up pulling a groin muscle and playing basketball, and then I kind of stopped for a while. And now, as far as this is now, I guess, the most consistent I've probably gotten back into it, and definitely have strongly motivated from that event that took place last week. But it's basically where some of the strongest men in the world come in, or at least in the United States, I could say. And they basically, it's a weightlifting presentation, and they're lifting crazy weight. I mean,
wow.
I could say, some of the women were lifting 500 pounds, and Joe, I can't remember exactly his last name. I think it may be Joe Mackey. 900 pounds. Just it was 850. I think it was 850. He
850, 900.
He got 900 before, but I think this time it was he only maybe did like 850.
Wow. See, I used to be into lifting a lot of weight when I was younger. That was just the way to go. In fact, in high school, playing football and wrestling, the coaches were like, get in the gym, stack the weights, and just get the weights up. Well, that works really great when you're in your teens and early 20s.
Yeah.
As your body changes into the 40s, it's just not as resilient. We start going from building muscle to starting to lose muscle. And as we get into our 40s, we get to a point where we're losing about 2% of our muscle per year. And I was looking to build strength. I had built mass, but I was really looking to build strength because I realized that is what is going to help me long term.
Okay.
And so rather than go to heavy weights, the FitFAB workout actually goes the complete opposite direction. We start out every exercise, day one of the FitFAB exercise workout, at 5 pounds on every machine. And then each week, we either bump up 5 pounds or we stay at that weight. And so now I'm at, 285 pounds on one of my exercises. However, I started at 5, 10, 15, 20. And rather than push the weights fast, we push the weights very slowly. And so let's say you're doing something that mimics a chest press. You'd push up slowly. And then as you get to the top, you let it down super slow.
Yeah, and the burn.
You build that. Yeah, you burn that negative. And what that does is it strengthens not only the core muscle, but all of the supporting muscle structures around it.
Yeah.
And you know, we've all seen those old guys at the gym. The original name for the book was Old Man Strength. And and that
Yeah.
was the working title because I wanted to get old man strength. I wanted to be that guy that you show up at Muscle Beach and he does pull-ups next to the other guy and he's just crushing them at 80.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of my goals as well. Just definitely enjoying life. My body is still pretty good. I'm 39. I'm
Oh,
when I
you
step
are
on the
1 year
scale.
away from that flip.
Yeah, and but even stepping on the scale, metabolic age, it says 34. So that's one of the mentally motivating things that I enjoy. It's like, okay, I'm there. So, but
Oh, that's awesome.
it's a motivating. It's something that the switch is clicked, and I know it from the other day to where I feel a lot better on. It's gonna be pretty tough. Of course, it's always tough, but the consistency is there. It's like, yeah, it's a new hobby now, the new hobby, to where even having the in-house gym set up to where I can get it in how I want to, and then can go to the gym.
That's the best of all worlds where you can either do it at home or at the gym. And if you're just feeling like you need something, go in and do a little workout.
Yeah.
The key is that setting that behavior, setting that muscle, and no pun intended, muscle memory of going to the gym every day and just making it a habit. Once we get that habit set and in place, it's hard not to go to the gym.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I want it to be. To where it's
Oh, that's awesome.
I can't.
Well, congratulations.
It's hard to travel. You just want to. All right, I got to work out right here in the hotel room, and just that's the mindset that I really want to get into, because I know the guys we were watching, that had to been the only mindset. You can watch the videos from after the event, and they're all like, "Okay, we're back at it, ready for next year's event," and that's just them pushing weight. So it's motivating, even though that's not the only thing that I do. That's kind of what they do in their particular profession. I'm not saying I want to be a bodybuilder necessarily like them. I just want the consistency of growing, transforming myself and doing it. It's not necessarily to compete, but
absolutely. Well, I mean, you
to,
were playing basketball, but not as a professional, because
right.
the professionals do it to that level. We get to play basketball and have fun and try to be as best as we can. Although, I'm sorry to hear that you had the groin injury. That I've had that before, and that is no fun.
Yeah, it was no fun at all.
A lot of times people think of workout for like a short-term goal, but it's really like, I recently saw an 85-year-old bodybuilder and she was moving around and doing everything. Like, she even looked like she was probably 50 or so.
Wow.
So it's like, getting that motivation for that, like the longevity. You want to be mobile longer. Like, you don't want to be, walking with a stick at like 60, 70. So
Absolutely. I mean, we brush our teeth every day because we don't want to lose them when we get older.
right.
We need to work out our muscles most days of the week so we don't lose them as we get older.
Yeah.
It just goes hand in hand. It's just part of that personal development.
Yeah.
And we like biking and stay active, here in LA as well. So it's a aura. It's a whole lifestyle kind of here in LA. They have that. And before coming here, I listened to an audio book of Ari Hurston, and he explained about how LA is, and it's like yeah, everybody goes to the gym. He's like, and I mean everybody goes to the gym, and you see it here.
Absolutely. I think there's probably more gyms per capita than anywhere in the world in LA. Mm-hmm. And with the bike paths, the beach, it makes sense that it's a pure exercise town.
Yeah. And we snorkel as well. So we go to the beach and kind of get that in a little bit.
Oh, that's excellent.
So going back a little bit, how did you get motivated? Like, when you are told you have cancer, that's usually like mentally debilitating for most people. How did you get motivation to even come up with the book or the fitness program?
gypC, I've been thinking about this for a while, and it turns out that this is not the first time I got kicked in the teeth on a health issue. I think I have successfully fended off 4 potential deaths in my life.
Wow.
When I was born, I was born placenta previa, which means that the placenta came out before I did. And because of that, they were worried about oxygen level in my blood and everything else. And so I was given a blood transfusion as soon as I was born. There was a really high chance for mortality when at that time. Then, when I was 20 years old, I crashed a motorcycle on the 405 down in Fountain Valley, California. And I remember the police officer that came to the trauma center looking for the corpse. And there I was in the corner waving, saying hi. I had successfully managed to get myself disabled for about 6 months, but I didn't die there. Then, with the cancer diagnosis, I remember the first thing I did was I walked up to my wife's office because we both work out of our house. And I walked into her office. She was sitting down, and I said, I was just diagnosed with cancer. And I feel the blood, leaving my face right now. We were both flush in our reaction. And we went to Google and we looked up this type of cancer on Google. And the information on Google is like 20 years old compared to what is actually happening in oncology today. Mm-hmm. So we freaked ourselves out for a bit there. And we made a commitment. And this is a commitment that's carried forward now into other health issues that we've run into. And that is the person that is sick focuses on getting better. They focus on believing that they are cured, and they keep their mind ahead of their body. And we're just waiting for our body to catch up on its treatment. Mm-hmm. And then the other person, our partner, focuses on, are we getting the right medical treatment? Are we getting to our exams and our treatments? Are we eating right? Are we staying healthy? Are we reducing our stress? And so my wife took on all of this stress during my cancer treatment. Well, I can't say my cancer treatment because I don't like to personalize it. The treatment that I received for cancer. And so I believed the whole time that I was cured and my body just needed to catch up. And so that mindset really helped. And then after I was cured, the next year, COVID came. And I caught COVID in June of 2020. Wow. And I was hospitalized twice, and I came this close to dying. They told me I probably wasn't going to leave the hospital the second time. And I'm sorry, I'm a fighter. I'm a lover, but I'm a fighter. And I'm gonna barrel through this. And I got out of the hospital. I recovered from COVID pneumonia at home using macrobiotic foods and plenty of rest. And that was the fourth time that I've come this close to dying.
Wow.
So it's that fire inside of me that says I'm not done yet. When the officer came to the trauma center when I was 20 years old, and he looked at me and he's like, we had to close the freeway for 3 hours to clean up the mess. He said, I was expecting to just come in here and sign off that the corpse was being sent to the morgue. He said, I don't know what you have to do or what's left for you to do in your life, but something is keeping you alive to keep going. So keep going and try to figure out what it is that you still need to do as a human. And so I've lived my life that way, which is I still haven't found that thing that I need to do that will better the planet. And so I keep trying.
I say you've probably found it, but just, you know, you're still, you're still here. So you're still finding more things to do.
Absolutely.
But your story really speaks to the importance of mindset. Because it kind of reminds me of the story of Joe Dispenza, which I like to tell a lot of people. He kind of mentally healed himself, basically. And he has a pretty interesting story anyway. I'll share it with you after this. But yeah, it's the importance of mindset is underrated, I guess.
Yeah,
and that's why FitFAB, the book, Fit for Any Battle, is train your body and mind for life after 40, because we have a meditation inside of the workout we focus on mindfulness and reducing the stressors that we have, reducing our attention on our pain receptors, because we're lifting weight. It's going to be a little painful. Mm-hmm. It's not an injury. So what we can do is we can turn down our pain receptors to focus on only listening for injuries. And because of that, we're able to gain additional strength in our workout because our mind and our body are connected in one.
Yeah, I definitely felt some pain last night, but I had to relate it to that. Like, hey, man, you're just getting back and you got to get the whole body back into it. So,
Absolutely. It's sort of like getting a tattoo. We know it's going to hurt, and we have to just tell ourselves that it's going to hurt through there, but we can deal with the pain.
Yeah, those first few things that you feel it. All right, okay. Now it's all right. Now I'm numb, and then it just starts flowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a challenge. It takes a lot. I know for me, the consistency is something that I battled with the most, and now, definitely over the past 2 years, 2020, it just kind of stopped riding the bike a little. Just kind of really stop exercising and realize some of the things. And I've had almost basically been the same weight since like high school, close to. So just now seeing a change right now in, okay, those few pounds are going to be there, or it's kind of, I've always had a goal to go up in muscle, but when the pounds come and you're not doing anything, it's like, no, those are not the right pounds that I want to stick, but they're kind of, transforming now into a little bit more muscle. But I'm about 163 now. I was in between about 155, 150 and 155 since like high school. But now I haven't seen 159 in a while, so
159 and I haven't met in several decades. Because when I was in high school, I wrestled 145 to 154, that band. Well, after high school, I was cranking on weights. And so, I got to 185, 200, 215, 230. I mean, I really put on some muscle. And it was because I was in the gym every day pushing really hard weights. However, what I was also doing was I was giving myself long-term injuries that I just was unaware of. And that's where I used to love biceps. Doing bicep workouts, that was my jam. And unfortunately, I had been giving myself a repetitive injury on the bicipital tendon that later in life prevented me from being able to do that. And it really sucked. So with the Fit Fab workout, I was able to retrain my body, and actually my bicipital tendonitis now is almost gone.
Nice.
Is there anything like early signs that you're kind of putting too much stress on any muscle or your body?
I would think it's hard to tell a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, so if we are working out one muscle group more than once a week, we are working it too much because we are creating tears in our muscle that is then filled in with additional material that eventually becomes and strengthens into muscle. And in our tendons, we don't. When we tear a tendon, what goes in there is a material that doesn't turn into tendon. It just stays as scar tissue. So as we are noticing pains in our joints, that's where we need to focus our attention, because a pain in a muscle, it's going to heal. A pain in a tendon, we may never heal from that perfectly.
That's interesting, because I hurt myself. I was on a boogie board in the ocean, kind of.
I love boogie boarding.
The wave kind of basically like flipped me over, slammed me to the ground, and kind of. I heard a little crack on my shoulder. It took a really long time to heal. I'm not used to getting injured, so I was just surprised at how long it took to heal. But even now, like last night when I'm like doing shoulder work or certain things, I notice it a little bit. I guess I do need to watch out for that.
But it's just strengthening it as well.
Yeah, strengthening it
putting
probably
some muscle
helps.
around it.
Yeah, there's a couple things that are super important. In fact, we use these techniques in the Fit for Any Battle workout. Number one, tons of hydration. When you're at the gym, you should be drinking more water than you think you should be.
Mm.
In between every set, I drink 3 to 4 big gulps of water. I end up going through about 40 ounces during a workout. Most people will run to the fountain and drink a little bit and then go back and work out. And then when they feel thirsty, they go back. That's too late. Tom Brady in his book said, he drinks a ton of water. I tried to drink at his level, but it kept me up at night because I was going to the bathroom like 5 times a night. So I kind of pared it down a little bit, but still a lot. Then the second thing we have to do is stretch. We have to stretch before and after each set, each exercise that we do each time. And there's a specific set of exercises that you can use for your shoulder, but there's also a specific set of stretches that you can use to strengthen it. And there's a tool that I use after I work out called, it's a red light. And so it creates red light therapy by putting deep into the muscle and in the tendons a red light that stimulates the growth. It stimulates the movement of blood and white blood cells coming in to heal. And so the one that I use is called a Tend Light. I found it on Amazon. Yeah, it's a lifesaver. I use it before I go to the gym. I'll use it after I go to the gym. And that's one of the reasons why my bicipital tendonitis has pretty much gone away.
Okay. Yeah,
I have to look into that.
Yeah, I've heard of red light being kind of therapeutic or something like that as well.
Yeah, a really intense red light. Like you can't stare at the red light, but man, you put it on your shoulder and it'll turn on for about a minute and then it'll turn off, and then I'll do it for about 3 or 4 minutes on the shoulder. It reduces pain, reduces inflammation, and it just allows the tendon to get more, more fresh blood into it.
Yeah, it's amazing how far we've come with things like that versus, a prescription for certain things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how we figured out that just light can help us. Water can help us. We don't have to go in and take a bunch of meds to get ourselves prepared for the gym or recovering from the gym. It just takes common sense water and light.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely speak to water because I've actually, before they closed down the gyms in 2020, I went through a weight loss journey and lost about 55 pounds. And I know I was drinking. So I was monitoring myself using this scale that kind of reads a little bit more than your weight. And I noticed, fast forward like 3 years later, I noticed my water in my body has dramatically decreased. When I was healthier, I had a whole lot more water. That was one of the things that stuck out to me. And I told him about it yesterday. I'm like, I had a lot more water in my body when I was healthier than I do now. I just thought that was very interesting. And I did used to drink a lot more. And it just makes everything better. Like your face clears up and you just feel better in general.
We're pretty picky on the water filter. We'd use zero water filter.
Mm-hmm.
How would you rate the water quality in Texas or in Austin?
Yeah, I guess it's probably better to say Austin because we're surrounded by Texas. Yeah. In Austin alone, we tend to filter our water a lot out here. It's a very heavy limestone area. So the limestone does a good job of filtering the water when it goes into the aquifers. However, it also puts in various minerals and things that can have the water just be a little less tasty. So filtering it just for taste is number one, the thing that most everybody does here.
Yeah, because here the water is pretty bad coming out of the faucet, so it's highly for us. We highly recommend. Yeah,
oh yeah, because the LA River. That is where a lot of the water for the LA basin comes in, and that thing is open to the environment. All of the smog from cars, all of the trash.
Yes.
That definitely has an effect on it. So I'm glad you're filtering.
Are you into like as far as MMA or anything like that?
I used to work out with a guy named Chemo who was in UFC 1 and 3. I've been a big
Wow.
fan of MMA over the years. I was a wrestler in high school, so I still feel like I could probably hold my own in some degree, which is probably far from the truth. And so I do enjoy watching these athletes bring their bodies to the perfection that allows them to fight in the octagon. What about
Yeah.
you?
Oh yeah, I'm a UFC fan, or MMA fan. I'm not into it myself physically. I'm a cellist. Grew up a cellist, so risky with injuries with certain things.
Oh
So I
yeah.
got into more swimming and kicking with soccer. But yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of it though. You said UFC 1 and 2. I was like, wow, that's like a long time ago. I had to be like the very beginning
I
of
know.
yeah.
Yes, that's before it went underground.
Yeah, it
It
was
was like it was there, and that
was
was really crazy because I was in Huntington Beach, California, working out at Powerhouse Gym, and that's back when I used to come in and lift ungodly amounts of weight, and I haven't seen that kind of weight in years.
I've seen down here at the downtown LA. It was before the pandemic. We came in one late night and saw Vince McMahon working out. It was
Nice.
weird. It was a limo outside. I was like, this is weird. I wonder if somebody's in here. And it was actually Vince McMahon. I was like, wow.
That's intense, but it shows that you have to keep yourself at the gym to keep yourself going.
Yeah, it was him and another guy as well. I'm probably someone he is just signing or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to work out with a workout partner, and it was much easier to coordinate when I was younger.
Mm,
And then as we get into our business career, it's a challenge to find time at the right time for two people to get together at the gym. And when I put Fit for Any Battle together, I realized that it had to be one that we go alone as we get a little older. Now we
yeah.
can work out with somebody because there's this easy way to switch in between as we're doing our workouts because the workouts are designed around the concept of 2 minutes. So when we get to a machine, and we use machines and not free weights because we want to reduce the chances for injury by having a weight that can be going in the wrong direction or the wrong path. So when we go in and let's say we're doing a leg press, we don't worry about the number of times we've pressed the machine, the number of repetitions. Repetitions are no longer important in the Fit for Any Battle workout. What we do is we have a timer, and it starts at 2 minutes and it counts down to 0. And so for that 2 minute period, we're going to go slow in both directions. And then as we make one full movement, we rest for about a half to 1 second, take a breath, keep going into it. And then at the end of 2 minutes in the mobile app, it will give us a little ding in our AirPods or in our headsets at 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and then 0. So we know that we're getting close to the end and we can keep going. And it's basically we're going 100% until that 2 minute mark is done. And then we rest for 2 minutes because it's 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off. And that off period of time is critically important. And gypC, you were saying that your shoulder was injured.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time when, if we're doing a shoulder workout, like say a shoulder press, we get done with that 2 minutes and then it's drink a bunch of water. We have specific stretching we can do for that exercise. And then we clear our mind of the things that are just popping in and bothering us. Like, oh, I need to remember to take the trash cans out. Or, oops, I have that paper that I need to deliver to somebody. All of those little things we just clear out of our head so you can focus on your shoulder, the pain, and reducing the pain and looking out for additional injury.
Yeah, I don't, I don't count reps because I just go until failure, or it can't, I can't keep track. I'm just, cause it's like when I'm working out, I can't even work out with a partner really. Cause I'm just it's almost a meditative state. I'm just in my world or whatever. So I don't like to count cause it's just like keeping track. So I just go until I can't anymore, but I don't do a good job of taking enough break probably in between in between each rep.
Yeah, that may be something
I just,
with mine too.
take a few seconds off, and then I go back into the next one.
Oh no, we got to so there's a concept called the power band for a muscle, and that is how much over time, how much power your muscle has. And when we apply force to it in an exercise, that power band decreases. And so if you don't, and I did a lot of A/B testing on the FitFAB workout. And at one point, we were trying to do 2 minutes where you didn't stop. You just went slow up, slow down. And as soon as you got to the bottom, you started going back up. And that was reducing the available power in our muscles. And then if we don't rest enough, that lack of available power translates into injury right there, because you're still trying to do what you were doing before, but your power in your muscle is gone. So we've gone to a rest for about a half to 1 second to just take a breath. And that resets our power band in our muscle, kind of like if you're playing a video game and your power goes down and then you just stop for a second and it starts building back up. Same thing. And then the 2 minutes of rest is critical, because your body is going to try to flush out the toxins that built up in your muscle when you were doing the exercise. So really spending as much time exercising as you do resting at the gym will tremendously help your recovery.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to work on that.
Yeah, just definitely the resting part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rest,
because I don't think
drink water.
I don't think I rest at least 2 minutes. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I don't think I do that.
Well, if you grab the Fit Fab app, it's free to download. It's on both the app stores for Google and for the iPhone. Okay. It has it has the counter that counts you down and says, "Okay, you're on set 1 for 2 minutes. Then you're in a rest period for 2 minutes," and it forces you into that mindset of just resting. Which, when we think about it, these professional basketball players that are out on the court, they're pushing. But then they get a break. They have a halftime for a reason. It's not just to have the cheerleaders come out on the floor. They need to recover. And so they have to find those places to recover. Well, at the gym, because we are pushing against these massive weights or pulling weights, we have to break and give ourselves a chance to rest.
Definitely.
So for people that are over 40, would you recommend, is there, I guess, cardio versus weightlifting? I mean, I'm sure you have to do both, but is there one you recommend over the other, or?
Yeah, so the way that the exercise is laid out is that 2 days a week you get to rest in the Fit Fab workout. So we have a shoulder day, we have a chest day, we have a back day, we have a leg day, an arm day, and a shoulder day. And that's the order that we take them in, because we're building up to something. And typically our shoulders are the last ones we're going to work out, because they have been worked out in a variety of other exercises. And then for the 2 days that we have off, my 2 days are Thursday and Saturday. And the reason for it is every Thursday night, I go on a bike ride with a bunch of other people. And so I do cardio on Thursdays. And then on Saturday, I rest all day. I don't do a single bit of exercise. And that helps my body completely disconnect and heal for an entire day before I go back in and do chest the next day.
I like that idea, breaking it up into smaller muscle groups, not like leg day, upper body day.
Because some people do like back and bis or chest and tris. They try to create this composition that allows them to work 2 muscle groups. And my belief is that we have to focus our attention on keeping the blood in the muscle group that we're working. And if we work too far apart, our body just doesn't have enough blood to push fresh nutrients into both sides, and we end up healing a little slower.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
okay. No, go ahead.
I guess I wasn't sure if you had another question.
No.
Okay. Before we close it out, did you have I guess, let the users know where they can find your app, your book, and any other programs you might have.
Yeah, so FitFAB is a mobile app, which stands for Fit for Any Battle. And so if you look up FitFAB on the App Store, it's free to download. It sets up your workout. It tells you what exercises to do. It tells you when to rest and when to work out and what days. So that's an easy answer for folks that want to jump into it. Even if they don't read the book, they can jump in and they'll be told, oh, you're doing this exercise today. It's 5 pounds. We're going to start there. And we have to really remove our ego when we get to that 5 pound mark, because it seems like we should be lifting more, but there's a reason, because we're really building a lifelong journey here. And then Fit for Any Battle is a book that's available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. All the online retailers have the book available. So both of those things, the links to them can be found at our website, which is fitforanybattle.com. Okay. And then on Twitter, we're Fit for Any Battle. Instagram, we're Fit for Any Battle. And so we're trying to make sure that people have the resources they need. And I'm turning 49 this year, which means I'm about a year away from 50. So as you can imagine, I'm going to start looking at ways that we can work out now at 50. So there might be a FitFab 50, and then I hope FitFab 60 and 70 and 80, and that lady that you were talking about who was lifting weights in her 80s. I'm hoping we have a book for her coming up soon.
Yeah.
I look forward to lifting weights in my 80s as well. My mother's she's pretty, my father, both of them are 70, and my mother, she moves around, still pretty good. She's pretty lean, one of the smallest in her family or of her siblings. And my dad, he's a carpenter, and he still works by himself and physically, moving around. So,
well, and he's working out every day at work.
Oh yeah.
Makes sense why he's still going in his 70s. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, we've definitely enjoyed you, Richard. We appreciate all of the gems that you share with us. It's been a great conversation, and appreciate the positive energy.
My pleasure. And Classic and gypC, I really appreciate the opportunity to share the story. And when you come to Austin, and I encourage you to do so, please let me know, because you have a friend in Austin.
Definitely.
And the same here.
Yeah, if you're ever in LA, come down for a live studio recording as well.
I'd love to.
Yeah. And we can go to the gym.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, for the listeners, you can find us at AmericanGypsy.com. And we also have consistent self-improvement merch at luamlee.com.
And you can check out some music at Classic, KLACCIK, Carpenter, CARPENTA. That's on Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, YouTube, all major platforms. Thank you again to all of our listeners, our viewers, supporters, subscribers, followers. Thank you. Consistent self-improvement to everyone, and peace.